Hello everyone, welcome back on my YouTube channel, and those who are new, welcome to my channel. So in this video I am going to explain you about all the questions which were asked to me in my BU. So I will let you all know about my personal experience of BU, and I will tell you each and every questions in very detail, and simultaneously I will tell you the answers also. So what you have to do, you just have to stay tuned with me till the end of the video so that you could know all the things in very detail, and I will not skip any single question. You know why? Because I was thinking to make this video from very long period of time, so today I am finally back to make this video. So now let's get started. Okay, so now let's start. I have mentioned all those questions which were asked to me in my bio. I thought that I should make a video like this rather just telling to you, because when you will visualize the question, so it will more clear to you, right? So it will give you more clarity. So just on that note, I thought that I should mention all those questions. So here it is written, and I think it is visible to you all. So now let's discuss one by one. And here, yeah, I will also tell you the situational based questions which was asked to me, and also the questions which interviewer was asking me in the mid of the answers. Like he was just interfering, okay, if this, then what after that? Like this, okay? So I will tell you all. Just if you have not subscribed my channel, so please subscribe it, and hit the bell icon for more such updates, because it will just motivate me to make more such videos, right? So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So the first question is, what is the use of notify parameter? Okay, so yeah, notify parameter we have to use, and what it does, it just tells the system where to send the information of the job. Okay, because without notify parameters, how will system know which user ID we are talking about? So notifies the system, and you have to give your mainframe ID, that is your user ID, about the job. So it gives the information to that particular mentioned user ID or mainframe ID. And what is the syntax of it? Notify equals and your user ID, and you can also write like notify equals ampersand system user id. Any user id you can give, whatever you I mean your user id. So that is of use of notify user parameter. So yeah, he started asking me questions with very simple and easy questions, as you can see. And before asking these questions, he has asked me like, in which area you are strong, like what is your strongest area among all those JCL, VSAM, COBOL and DB2. So I have answered JCL, because we all know why. So yeah, then he started asking me about the JCL first. Then he asked me what is the use of class parameter. So class parameter we use to identify the nature of the job, because see, every job has some class, right? So with the help of class parameter, we have to define like class equals a to z alphabet. From a to z it varies, any class we can give, and from 0 to 9. Okay, so it will just, we have to give to identify the nature of the job. So that is the use of class parameter. Next one is, what is the use of job card? So you must have noticed when you have to write any JCL program, so the beginning of the statement is your job card, right? So that is the job card, which is very much mandatory to mention, because without this, you cannot write your program and that will not run. So it is mandatory. Then he asked me, okay, so what is the length of that job card? So the length of job card will be 8. Okay, I'm repeating 8. So yeah, and next he has asked me what are the maximum procedures allowed in a JCL. So that time I was not much sure about it, but now I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, for to define any procedures in a JCL, there are categories like in stream procedure and catalog procedure, right? So, for in stream procedure, we can
write only 15 procedures in a JCL, and I think for a catalog procedure we can write 255, but I have to see it is it clear, I mean is it confirm or not, so I'll confirm you. But yeah, in stream procedure we have to use 15 we can use in a JCL. Next one is, then when I said that in catalog procedure we have to call from another member, then he asked me, okay, so tell me what is ordered in JCL, right? So yeah, if you have done coding on catalog procedure, so you must have written under JCL lib order equals some particular user ID where you have to give the information of which datasets you are talking about, like obviously according to the need of your program. So that is the order, like it will identify which program we are coding about. So that will be written under JCL lib in a JCL. So that is, where was I? Yeah, that is order in JCL. Then he asked me okay, what is the difference between job lib and step lib? So I said, okay, so job lib and step lib we use for executable files. These both are just the uh, load modules. Okay, so job lib we will use at job level, and step lib we will use at step level. So as we all know, in a job I mean in a JCL, in a program, there can be only one job, right? But there can be more than one steps. So obviously job lib will be work at job level, so there can be only one job lib. But step lib, there can be more than one. So that is the difference between job lib and step lib. And you can also prepare for the JCL lib also. Like in the JCL lib, you have to write order equals the data set for calling the program. That is the catalog procedure. Okay. So then he asked me when I was saying the difference between these two, job lib and step lib. Then he has asked me which one will override the job. So obviously step lib will override the job. Okay. Yeah, and let me drink a water, please. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, then he has asked me let's say this parameter in a file I have given new, delete, catalog. Mark my words. I'm saying first will be new, then delete, then catalog. So what will happen when the job ends? Here you can see. What will happen when the job ends? So I said this will not catalog the data set, because in the place of catalog we have written here delete. Okay. So it will just terminates abnormally. Okay. Then he asked me, how will you define a disk parameter for temporary data sets? So I said for defining a temporary data sets, we have to, code like this equals new, pass, and delete. Then he asked me, why do we give pass? So I said for creating a temporary data sets, we have to code like new, pass, delete, and to pass the some information from one data set to another data sets. Okay. Then he asked me, okay, then what will happen when job completes? What will happen? So, you know what will happen? So, when the job will complete, it will, because we are creating temporary data sets, right? So, it will be deleted. Okay. Next, he asked me, what will happen when the particular job calls a particular procedure, whether the file will be available or not? I'm just repeating the question. He was just asking me in the mid of my answer, so that's why I'm telling you. He asked me what will happen when the particular job calls a particular procedure, whether the file will be available or not, while creating a temporary data sets we are talking about. Okay. So then I asked me, please repeat your question. Then he make me understand, like you have a job with some procedures, right? And in the first step, you created temporary data sets. And on the second step, you are calling a procedure that is an stream procedure. So can we access that temporary file that we have created? Then I said, yes, obviously we can access. So that is the answer. He was just trying to know from me in very detail. So that's why he was asking like these types of questions. Then he asked me one another scenario based questions like he told me you have a GDG file, okay, and you have a GDG file created in step 1 and you want to refer with same file in step 3, okay. So as an input file. Basically, in the first step, you are creating a GDG. See, don't feel like complicated. I'm telling you in a simple words. He asked me. Basically, in the first step, you are creating a GDG file, and the created file you have to refer in step 3. So, how will you do that? Okay, in the first step you have already created your GDG base, your first generation base, you have created that, and in the step 3 you want to refer the same file. So how will you do that? So you can do with plus 0. Plus 0 is for what? For the current generation, right? So that is the answer. Okay. Then after he told me that, so can we move on to COBOL? I said, yeah, obviously. Then the first question he asked me about COBOL, like in COBOL, what is the use of linkage section? So linkage section, I said, okay, there are so many divisions, but if we are talking about linkage sections, so like there are main programs and sub programs in COBOL, right? So I think I'm getting a call on Teams. Wait a minute. Okay. So I was saying about linkage section. So in linkage section is used for subprograms. Okay, if you are working on COBOL, so you must be knowing there are two kinds of program, main program and subprogram. So whenever you have to declare a variable of your subprogram, so that you can declare in under the linkage section. Okay, so that is the use of linkage section. Then next question he has asked me about the unstring. He has asked me about the unstring function. Okay, so unstring is used to split one string into multiple substrings. Okay, so uh, by this clause, it is compulsory when we have to do some splitting kind of work, because by providing this like ws string you have to mention like this, it will be delimited by space into for example ws working story string 1, then working story string 2 with pointer. So it will count on overflow and display message. Like if you want to display, so you can code like display message not on overflow, and like display message and end unstring. So unstring, you simply have to know that it is used when you have to split one string into multiple substrings. So that is the use of unstring functions. Okay, I hope it is clear to you all. And next one he has asked me about the copy and include in a DB2. Okay. So he asked me like in working storage section, I'm giving copy in one place. Okay, not on DB2. I'm talking about the COBOL. So he asked me in working storage section, I'm giving copy in one place and include in another space. So what is the difference between them? So the only difference between include and copy is that while include is executed at pre-compile type and by the SQL compiler, okay, and copy is executed at compile time by the COBOL compiler. So that is the only difference. And honestly, like about this particular question of copy and include, I have said only this difference in a single line, because I was not knowing much about it, and right now also I am not knowing much about it. Like I haven't done any practical kind of questions on this particular topic, so I will say only this much for this. All right. Next, he has asked me, like, okay, so what is DBRM in DB2? Okay. So, firstly, I said, okay, it stands for Database Request Module, and so why do we use DBRM? So it is just serialized representation of what of the SQL statements in a program. For example, a program may be written in COBOL, okay, and this program will be pre-processed by DB2 to produce a DBRM that will used to bind. You must have learned about the bind concept in DB2, right? This is available on your Gen C platform also. So just go through with that in if you want to know in details. So it is basically used to bind against a particular DB2 subsystem. So that is the use of DBRM. Then interviewer asked me about the another question. He told me, okay, then what is the use of withhold cursor? So if honestly I would say, like, I was knowing that time about cursor in very detail, but I was not knowing about the withhold cursor. So I said about the cursor, because why do we need cursor for fetching the data? If we wanna know for particular data, so we can know from by fetching the data at the same time, more than one data if we have to fetch. For example, if I have to know the details about knuckle, so there can be more than one person of having same name. So how will the system uniquely identify? So for that purpose, for to remove that contradiction, we use cursor. Okay, so this I mean, I have explained about cursor, and I have given examples also. And for withhold cursor, I have given just a simple definition, because I was not knowing in detail of it, because I haven't done the practical. So I am giving you very honest review of my interview. So yeah. Okay, so I told, like, withhold to indicate that a cursor should not close or commit or sync point. It means, obviously it is clear by name, right? You are holding for some moment. There is also in a JCL there is a question of tyrannical hold, when you need to hold one job so that you can remove deadlock kind of condition. Okay, so withhold is also means similar to that. So it withhold to indicate that a cursor should not close at a commit or sync point. However, sync point rollback closes all cursors and end of tasks. So, to close all cursors before DB2 reuses or terminates the thread, so simply I will just say withhold is used to hold for some particular time. And if you want to know in detail, so you can refer the Gen C Learn platform, because I know about this withhold only. I mean the definition, I can say. Okay. Next, he has asked me different, why I have written D here. I think by mistake I have written. So, different SQL errors. He has asked me, have you come across different SQL errors, like if you have done training? So I said yes, there are so many SQL errors. There is a particular big file of those all SQL errors. So obviously I'm not recalling every SQL errors, but I can give you some. For example, -305 for null indicator needed. And then again there is, yeah, -104 illegal symbol indicator. And yeah, -204 for object non-identified. So these kind of SQL errors, there are so many. You can say any two or three, whatever you are recalling. So you can just say that. Then after he asked me, okay, tell me, have you come across -805? Okay, he has asked me, okay, like, have you come across this -805? I said, yeah, I have come across. And the answer will be, you know what, you can get -805 SQL error when DBRM or package not found in plan. So you can get that. And honestly, I got to know this from that file only, because I haven't come across this SQL error during my coding time. So, on an honest answer. Okay. Next, he asked me, he moved to VSAM quickly, and then he asked me, uh, in VSAM, what is the difference between control area and control interval? So I said, control area is a group of control interval. Okay, and now what is control interval? Obviously you want to know. So control interval, for example, whenever you are creating any data set in a JCL, so you are providing, like from the that option menu, if you are using, so you are providing some kind of memory allocations, right? Primary and secondary, right? So for the memory purpose. So similarly in VSAM, when you are creating any VSAM datasets, so there also you have to specify there some memory allocation. So that is denoted by CISZ, control interval size. So you have to specify there, right? So that is the use for specifying the memory of your that particular VSAM datasets. So that is called control interval, and the group of control interval is called as control area. I hope it is clear. Next one is, what are the different VSAM files? Everybody is knowing this. So different VSAM files, there are four basically different VSAM files. One is KSDS, key sequential datasets, then RRDS, relative record dataset, then LDS, linear dataset, and ESDS, elementary sequential datasets. Yeah, I have said all four. Okay, next he asked me, why do we go for build index? Build index, basically we can say it is the communication between alternate index and cluster. Okay, for example, if I have created one alternate index of KSDS, obviously we can create alternate index of KSDS only where keys is required, keys is used. So in the build index, we can enter some data in that particular alternate index. So we can modify the data. So that is the use of build index. So that's why we opt build index. And also the what can I say? Yeah, the syntax of build index will be build index in dataset, and then you will give your dataset name in the bracket part, and then dash. You must be knowing, still I have to say, then out data set, that like your output data set, and then you will give that name of that particular data set in a bracket and then dash, and then no sort call. So that is the syntax of build index. So why you opt build index? Whenever you have to modify your alternate index, so then you can use build index. I hope it is clear to you all. And what is alternate index? So alternate index create another keys in VSAM. Okay. So we can use alternate index on KSDS and ESDS. So similarly, you can create alternate index by define cluster and then name and the name of that. For example, ziba dot codes dot KSDS. Then indexed, keys, free space, tracks, control interval size, CISZ. These all you need to give. So we can do modification changes by using alternate index. So that is the use of build index and alternate index. I hope it is clear. And next he asked me about what is the file status code 23. So why do we get file status code 23? So I just states when record not found, when your record not found in the VSAM, or and even you can get in COBOL also. File status code is similar for both of them, in the COBOL also and in the VSAM also. So don't confuse between them. Okay. So file status code 23 means record not found. Then he has asked me any file status error. So I have said, yeah, there are so many errors. So you can say any, even there is a full big file of it. Okay, there are so many uh, SQL error and the file status codes error are mentioned. So he has asked me about 10 and 00. So 10 is for read, which is end of the file, and 00 is for all successful completion. Don't confuse between them. between these 10 and 00. By mistake, na, at first I said that 10 is for successful completion and 00 is for read. Then I corrected by saying no, 10 is for read and 00 is for all successful completion. Okay. Next, he asked me which utility do we use for creating GDG. So this one is very simple. We use IDCAM utility to create any GDG. Even IDCAM utility we use for for VSAM datasets also. Okay. Next, he asked me what is the use of IEB copy. So, IEB copy is used to copy members from one PDS to another PDS and also to compress the PDS. Okay. PDS, you are knowing there are two types of data sets, PS and PDS. Okay. So yeah, so IEB copy we use to copy members from one PDS to another PDS. You can go through with all the utility like IEFBR 14, which is a dummy utility for creating or deleting data sets, and then ID camps for creating GDG and VSAM file data sets. Then IEB copy, just now I have said. Then you can go through with IEB journal, which is to copy records from one PS to another PS. That is the difference between IEB copy and IEB journal. Okay. And then the source datasets and destination datasets must be specified whenever you are, uh, applying IEB journal dataset. I mean utility. And also you must be knowing whenever you will use IB journal, so you have to you have to specify there sys out, sys in, DD star, these kind of things you must be knowing. And then again another one is IEB compare, which is written like IEB COMPR, and this is used to compare two PS or PDS datasets. So if datasets are same, then maxis is 0 you will find, and if dataset is different, then maxis is 8 you will find. So if you are getting maxis 8, then you don't have to worry like you okay, so you are getting error. No, because if you are comparing, in that case only if you need maxis 8, so you have to check like, yeah, if your data set is different, if the records in that particular data set is different, then you will get maxis 8. If the data set is same, so you will get maxis 0. Then IB update. So there are these kinds of utility which is available in mainframe. So I think I have said all those utility which I can recall right now. And next, he asked me about the static call and dynamic call. Okay, so I have said this answer in very deeply. So basically, whenever you are coding in COBOL, so there are two types of programs. Okay, so the program which calls other program is called as calling, or you can say main program. The program which calls other program is called as main program, and the program which is called by the another program, that is called as called program, or you can say sub program. So there are two types of program. First one is main program and another one is sub program. Why I have said you these two first before saying the difference between static and dynamic? Because in the case of static call and dynamic call, there will be use of main program and sub program only. That's why. Okay, so there are two types of call. First one is static and another one is dynamic. So in the case of static call, you can, the syntax first I will say, syntax is call. You will just write the call keyword and then the name of your sub program. Okay, so static calls take more space but execute in less amount of time in comparing to dynamic call. And both programs, which program I'm talking about? The main program and the sub program. So both programs are compiled as a separate PDS member but are linked together, means it will be edited at same time. I'm talking about the static call. So in the case of a static call, both programs are compiled as a separate PDS and can be edited at same time. Okay, so you can code like call with the name of your subprogram. So this one will be of your simple calling program. And the another is like you can use with some parameters. So you will code like again with the call keyword, call your name of the subprogram and then using any parameters or arguments whatever you want to pass. So that is called as static call. And then the dynamic call. So dynamic call, in the case of dynamic call, both main and subprogram are combined in separate periods, but that can be linked together separately. In the case of static, we have seen like we were uh, editing in the same PDF. Okay, I mean sorry, not PDF, in the same PDS. But in the case of dynamic, this can be linked together in a separate way, separately. Syntax of dynamic call will be again like call and then WS variable like working storage and some variable, and under that, under your WS variable, it will contain obviously name of your program. So you can write like call, then WS, and then the subprogram, your name of your subprogram. And here, if like you are using WS sub, which is a program, so it is under a working storage variable. So we can define, we have to define like obviously you have to define with your level number 01 or 05. You are knowing this, so you can say like this. I have said you in very deeply. So those who are knowing this concept and those who have covered this their training, or those who are going to cover within few days, so they can relate with me this, because this is when you are studying COBOL. Okay. And also there is one way you can accept, you can use accept command, accept key for that's a WS program. That is the point of dynamic call. So basically there are two types of call, static and dynamic in a COBOL. Next, he asked me, next and the last, he asked me what is the difference between JES2 and JES3. So first I said, okay, JES is for a job entry system and JES is used to accept jobs. Okay, obviously it is clear by name again. It is used to accept jobs and run on one of several computers connected together in a network. And again, I will try to say with the example so that you can understand it better. See, whenever you are using a priority parameter, so there it is categorized by ranges. Why, you must be knowing why do we use priority parameter. So, ignore the background voice. Actually, there are some guests in my house, so and I'm making video in my room. So obviously, you may hear some kind of noise and voice. So please ignore that. Yeah. So we when we use priority parameter, so these assign priority of jobs of some class. Okay. And I have said already like JS is used to accept the jobs. So and priority parameter is to assign priority of jobs. You can get my point. Priority of jobs of some class. So it ranges from 0 to 15. Here what you have to notice, the syntax of priority parameter is PRTY equals n, where n is what? N is, n means it can vary. Like 0 to 14 if you will specify, then it means 0 to 14, then it means it will go to just two system. But if you will declare like n equals 0 to 15, then it will go to JES3 system. That is the main difference between JES2 and JES3. It will be declared under the priority parameter. I think I have cleared all these questions and I have tried my best. So see, it really took a lot of time for me also, and to you also when you are listening to me. So I tried my best to clear all these questions. Still, if there is any lacking, so please let me know. I will try to fulfill that also. And yeah, thanks for watching this, and stay connected. And if you have any kind of thoughts regarding this or anything you want to know, so just let me know in the comment section. I'll try to reply you as soon as possible. And please subscribe my channel for such updates and also for my motivation especially. Thank you.